Welcome to the Create Harmony podcast with Sally Burlington. This is a podcast about setting an intentional rhythm, about savoring life's blessings and learning how to use our imagination as a way of listening to God. If you want to learn more about how to bring stillness and gratitude into your life, you'll probably find a lot here that you love. And if you like to be creative and fun, there is a place for you here as well. In this place, we'll take a few minutes to celebrate everyday joys and remind ourselves how to notice goodness all around us. Welcome back to episode 29 of the Create Harmony podcast, and we are so glad that you are here. So today we are going to focus on one of my season change rituals and talk about how it reminds me to stay grateful and grounded. So hopefully it will remind you of the healing powers of nature. And I know that sounds so simple, but sometimes we all need to be reminded of this blessing that's right outside our doors and windows, or at least I know I do. So my nature story goes like this. I've shared in the past that while I love plants, I'm really not a full-fledged gardener. I don't do big-time landscaping or anything like that. I am more of a container gardening. That is my realm. So I have this small container garden of herbs right outside our back porch. And it's several little containers of herbs. And in the winter, those herbs die back. And so the process of planting up those boxes and growing herbs each season, spring and summer, is a real source of joy for me. So over the past week in my time off, I've been working on that very project, on planting up the new herbs for this season, because it's gotten warm enough where I live that it's time that I could plant. And this whole process starts with a trip to the local garden center to purchase the plants. And I love every bit of this. So I love from driving up in the parking lot and seeing the plants all blooming, the fresh plant life, the employees out watering all the new plants, walking around through the aisles, looking at different specimens, and then selecting my herbs. There are always such lovely blossoms to admire, all sorts of things that if I were a gardener, I would buy and plant, but I just want to admire them while I'm there and then load up my several little herb plants and go home. This year, when I went to buy my plants, I took my 8-month-old puppy along, which she thought was fantastic. So it was a little distracting, but she thought it was a wonderful outing. So we gathered up our herbs and we took them home to plant them on another day. So when the day came to plant them, that day, I was really feeling a little unsettled about some things in my life. I just had lots on my mind. My thoughts were very scattered. I really didn't feel very focused, but I decided it was a good day to get outside and try to distract myself. And so the first step in the process of planting is that I had to clean out all sorts of dead leaves and junk and things that had collected in the planters over winter. And so I started that process. I was cleaning out all the leaves, the debris, and underneath all of that, I found this dark, rich, growing soil. And it was time to get my hands into the dirt and plant those new herbs. They smell nice, they're fresh and green, and this was a great, fun process. But here is another place in my life where fantasy and reality diverge. So I like to imagine when I'm planting out there, I like to imagine that I'm the kind of person that clips all these herbs and grows them and takes them inside the house to create all sorts of natural, fresh culinary delights. When I am planting, this is what I'm imagining that is going to happen, even though I know it's not going to happen. And there are occasions that I do use these herbs from my garden in my cooking. I mean, I do actually clip them and I use them to cook things. But I think that culinary delights is really a stretch. There are really no culinary delights happening in our kitchen. But growing herbs does help me lean into eating more plants. So there is that. So once I get all the herbs nestled into their new home, I put my little plant markers in there. I get them all situated and I just stand back and look at them. I water them in, get them ready for growth. And this whole process does not take very long. It is very simple. I don't have to do any hardcore gardening, but it is so restorative for me. And being outside, taking in the fresh air, hearing the birds, letting my mind quiet down, it's all a very healing process. And now, why am I describing all of this to you? Why am I describing this very simple, benign process that I did? The reason that I'm describing it to you is in the hopes that you will find your own nature ritual, that maybe hearing my story about my nature ritual will inspire you to think about what rituals you could do out in nature that might quiet your mind and might be very healing. Maybe yours is hiking or taking your dog on a walk. Maybe yours is going for a swim. Maybe it's reading on your back porch or playing with your kids in the backyard. Yours might be going on a camping trip. Whatever yours is, lean into it. I know that something that you already know, you probably already know this. But on the day that I planted my herbs, I needed the reminder. I already knew it. I already know that nature is healing, but I needed the reminder to get out there and put my hands in the dirt. So I wondered whether there might be days that you need the reminder too. So soak it up. Now we're going to close with a liturgy from the book called Every Moment Holy that's written by Douglas McKelvey. And it is a liturgy for the planting of flowers. And I thought it would be perfect for today. And it goes like this. In a world shadowed by cruelty, violence, and loss, is there good reason for the planting of flowers? Ah, yes, for these bursts of color and beautiful blooms are bright dabs of grace, witnesses to a promise, reminders of a spreading beauty, more eternal and therefore stronger than any evil, than any grief, than any injustice or violence. What is the source of their beauty? From whence does it spring? The forms of these flowers are intentional designs of a creator who has not abandoned his broken and rebellious creation, but has instead wholly given himself to the work of redeeming it. He has scattered the evidences of creation's former glories across the entire scape of heaven and earth, and these evidences are also foretastes of the coming redemption of all things, that those who live in this hard time between glories might see and remember, might see and take heart, might see and take delight in the extravagant beauty of bud and bloom, knowing that these living witnesses are rumors and reminders of a joy that will soon swallow all sorrow. And that is our liturgy for today. Hopefully you will feel inspired to find a nature ritual for yourself, and it will heal and calm your mind. And until next time, peace.